Well, getting this field work down today and start drilling it. It's kind of chunky right here, but don't mind that because this end of the field is a shit show. That spot right there is the gray water off of the house, which is a no-no. And then that spot down to that spot is all the runoff from the cow lot, which is a big no-no. And then the only actual legit natural wet spot in this field is the water that runs off the pasture. And if you could see it better right when I was working it, because it hadn't had a chance to dry off yet, but you can kind of see where the water comes down through here, and you can follow the dark spot up through to the corner of the woods. That's the only natural wet spot in this whole front field. Everything else is runoff from the house and the barn. And other than, well, I had to go around that spot because I couldn't pull through it. And that's from the cow lot. And then there's a spot right there next to the woods that you can see I had to go around because I couldn't drive through it. But other than that, I got over the whole thing. It actually worked down pretty nice. The backfield's going to do better because it's sandier. It's one of them deals where you got 95% of the field ready to go. You go. You don't wait for the last 5%. Worked at a little bit of an angle to pull all my ridges shut. And you can't see it as good out back because the ground was lighter and it flowed better through the plow. But up here you could tell where that front bottom wasn't taking a full slice. I didn't have the drawbar slid to the right spot, and you could tell every spot where I made a pass because that front furrow wasn't throwing a full slice of soil, and it wasn't filling the furrow all the way. I got that rectified. When I got the plow cleaned up, I slid the drawbar over. I didn't do it here because I didn't have the tools, and I'm glad I didn't try because I was beating on the damn thing with a 9-pound sledgehammer for 10 minutes to get it off that plow. That thing was stuck in there so hard. So next time I go to use it, it'll be right. But I didn't have the camera with me this morning when I started because I got out here at about 7 o'clock. And I didn't want to wake Mom and Dad up getting the camera, so I grabbed the 150 and came over here. Got this field done in about a little over 2 hours. I could have done it faster if I didn't have to jerk around going around that wet spot and that wet spot, and I almost got stuck on, you can kind of see the ruts from here on that side of that wet spot. I damn near got stuck. I was able to back up far enough to get a head start, and I was able to swing the tractor and get it up on dry ground and pull out without having unhitched from the finisher. And then I got this damn rock. I can't believe, I don't remember hitting it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how I didn't break the plow pulling it out. But it's a rock. Like it was all I could do to move it. I bet the thing weighs 300 pounds. I'm gonna have to bring the 1600 over with the loader and get it. I think there's actually one or two more just like it out in the backfield. That's the hole it was in. I mean, I know there's bigger rocks. I know guys gotta deal with bigger rocks. Normally we don't gotta deal with rocks like that. That's my first actual big rock I've ever pulled up. It's a rock. And I didn't even see it at first because it must have been down far enough it was blended into the ground, and I felt the tractor go over it, and by the time I turned around the finisher already hit it, and the finisher pulled it up out of the ground and then it stopped the harrow. So I had it stuck in between the finisher and the harrow, so you couldn't weasel around it, so I had to move the son of a bitch. That thing's heavy. But anyhow, probably about another 2 hours, have that backfield done. And I'll actually probably start planting the backfield first, give this front one some more time to dry since it's clay. It would finish a lot better if I had the right harrow. I don't know if I've actually showed this thing all that well. It's a Kilbros RFF 12, which stands for Rolling Field Finisher 12 foot, because it's a 12-foot base. They had an RFF 12, and I think an RFF 15, which the model number just designates the width of the base and then the wings, because I think they made these things out to like 30 foot, which I can't imagine a 30-footer. That thing's got to weigh a metric ton. I mean, fuck. This thing is ungodly heavy. Like, it'll make the front wheels light on the 1950T, because I was moving it when I first got it. I was moving it around with the tow bar of the 1950T, and it would make the front wheels light. And this thing is ungodly heavy. But it does, I mean, it doesn't do too bad of a job. It works really good on sand. The farm I got it from up there is all sand. And that's where these bar style harrows work the best. I need, for this clay ground, I need an actual like underfirst rolling harrow with the flat bars, because these don't like soft ground either. As you can tell, I got a packed spot there and I got a packed spot there. All you got to do is sneeze wrong and these things will pack up with mud. The flat bar ones will do it, but not as bad. So I'm gonna probably, and I got a good deal on that. I only gave $1,700 for it, brought it home, probably put another $300-400 in it, and I mean, it does what I need it to, probably, but I'm probably just going to run that for a few more years, and then when I get everything where I want it to be, somebody's blowing up my phone. When I get everything else situated as far as a barn and a planter and everything else I want to get done, probably trade that thing off or sell that thing and try to buy an actual underfirst rolling harrow. I don't know why that alternator does that. It actually hasn't done it in a while. You start it, goes over to hard charge, sits there for a minute, then goes back to normal. Can't explain it. So, anyhow, I'm gonna get the camera mounted up and we're gonna start working that backfield.
What a night and day difference it is crossing that lane. It's like right there, ground changes. It's not even gradual. This field does lay a little wet along that back fence line, so hopefully it's not too bad. become part of the waterway. If I'd known that it was there, I wouldn't have went through it to begin with plowing, but I laid that part of the field out in the dark, and I didn't know that there was a washout going down the hill. So and there's a low spot over there along that woods that I'll probably have to go around. I also don't know what's all over my windshield. I cleaned it off this morning and I thought I had it off, so it looked clean. And then I got out here and the sun started to come up and that was all over it. All I did was smear some of it around. I really don't know what it was. It was just this nasty yellow sticky shit. There's still some on this window, but I can't clean that one without a ladder.
So how many of y'all are scared of snakes? Probably 2.5 foot long garter snake. It's actually starting to shed, or molt, whatever they call it when a snake loses their skin. He's still alive. Don't know how, because he went right smack through the center of the finisher. One lucky bastard. So we'll take him over here to the woods so he doesn't get hit. Must have just ate something. He's got a fat spot in his belly. Extreme close up. Well, there's that. Well, about 90% of that field is done. That took forever. Anybody that saw if anybody, well, it's a good thing it's back here where nobody could see me, because if somebody saw me working this thing, they'd probably thought I was fucking drunk. I had to go around so many random springs. Well, I take that back. They're not necessarily random. There's a wet spot there in the middle of the field, and apparently there's a spring that runs underground from that big tree where I stuck it the first time, all the way back through, makes a hook, and falls down off that hill, because there's a wet spot at the bottom, and I left a waterway there. And I couldn't pull through that spring. And apparently it hooks off and goes into the woods too, because there's a wet spot there, and I sunk a couple times coming this way in the back. But I got the vast majority of it done, everything I could pull through. And I mean, it's not even like the damn ground's wet. I mean, the ground is perfect. There's just springs back there. So Dad's bringing the tractor and disc over, and I'm going to bust them wet spots open with a disc, let them dry overnight, and hopefully tomorrow, first thing in the morning, run through them with the finisher and get them fit. Why am I taking a long way? Tractor's over here. Get them fit down and just plant through them, because I mean, the tractor was staying, well, the problem with that finisher, the problem with this finisher is the way they did the tandems on the main frame. They call them their Terra Tamer floating axles. So you got both wheels on an individual axle with arms that hang down, and the cylinder pushes on those two arms so that the wheels actually move completely independently of each other. And that leading wheel, if you get into a soft spot, that son of a bitch will go down quicker than shit. And because you're pulling forward and the arm is rocking like this, the harder you pull on it trying to get it out of the hole, the harder it's trying to go down, and it'll never come up out of its damn hole. So there's a lot of times where this finisher would probably float right over the top of it, except those damn axles go down. And then when those axles go down, the tractor starts spinning. When the tractor starts spinning, it rolls up dirt, which piles up in front of the wheels, and it's just a compounding problem. That's really the only thing I do not like about that finisher, is how they did those axles on the main frame. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and start drilling this front field. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the neighbor's over there somewhere working ground with his 210. It's not this field, it's on, there's a fence line, there's a field, then there's another fence line. He's on the other side of that far fence line. As you can tell, it's straight pipe. Actually, kind of sounds like it's one of their, nah, there ain't no way, that's a turbocharged one. That's too throaty. Turbo knocked that sound down a little bit. But anyhow, this field is nice and dry now. Actually dried out quicker than I thought. So, well, I'll be damned. There's Dad right there. I guess load the drill up and possibly get him going on drilling. I'll go back and disc these wet spots and then I'll take back over drilling and he can head home. So anyway, we'll catch you here. Well, got Dad going to start drilling out here in the front field while I go do some disking. I think since I'm here, put it in the other remote. Go out here and see if I can break this spot open, and I'll just plant through what I did. Well, my luck wasn't any better back here. But I got a stupid idea that might work. Remember, kids, if it's stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. This is ridiculous. But it's working. I don't know if I got enough horsepower. Might have to jump down a gear. Anyway, this is really happening. Well, that's officially the stupidest thing I've probably ever done, but it worked. Got it broke open along the back, except for right around that tree. I left that because it's got water standing in it, so it ain't gonna dry up. I broke open those two spots where that spring is, and then there's a spot along the woods that I went through, but there was water. That's not getting planted. So yeah, kind of amazing how quick that spot started drying out. Cause I broke that open, went across, got the back broke out, did that spot there that I'm not gonna plant because that's bad, and then drove through the center of it to do a spot down there in the corner, and by the time I drove through it, it was already rolling dust off the disc. So anyhow, that got 5 acres done already, according to the counter. So, oh, where can I put this? Because it's stuck back here. Where the hell did I find that? Oh yeah, I know where I found that. Yeah. So damn nice. I'm curious to see. Of course, it won't be a real good comparison because it was so damn cold when I planted that first round. But I'm curious to see how
how quick the beans come up on moldboarded ground versus chisel. Going to be interesting. Well, down to my last little bit here in this wedge. This is a lot of roundy rounds with a 10-foot drill, I tell you what. Makes you feel like you're never gonna get done. Trying to do this one-handed is interesting. Crooked. This field is literally nothing but point rows. The only straight edge on the whole thing is that one. And I don't even know if it's straight. It could be running off the damn angle like that. One part of it done. Park down here, right? You gotta worry about it rolling. Yeah, how many acres we end up with? 16, 18 acres on the dot. On this front field, which is weird. I was kind of thinking that the front field was the bigger of the two because it's longer, but apparently the back one's going to be bigger. Maybe that back one is longer. I don't know, it's hard to tell. But I guess walk out here real quick and see how my wet spots are drying up. Oh, this is drying out real nice. Wish I'd known it was going to be like this. I'd have been out here yesterday evening and disc this open, so it would have been dry today. Definitely made a difference cracking it open with that disc though. Faux show, faux show. Just don't know if it'll be ready by tomorrow morning. I'm almost half tempted to just go to work tomorrow, take Tuesday off, give this thing 2 days, or give this thing another full day to dry. Guess I have to check the weather and see if they still have Tuesdays clear or if we got rain pushing up. So anyhow, I guess. Oh, don't know if I'll leave the 66 here. Guess it really ain't gonna hurt nothing. It ain't supposed to rain. Make my life easier. Definitely need to take the seed home though. Don't want them bags getting dewed on. So, anyhow, I guess get some equipment shuffled around and call her a day. I'd like to start out here on this field, but well,
Yeah, I could, but there's a wet spot down there along that edge. That whole back edge is disced up. There's a wet spot over there that needs to finish a run back over it yet. I really can't start on my end rows yet, so. Anyway, I guess that does it for this one, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.